Yo, what's up? This is Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV with my co-host Jeremy Scipio.
What's going on, people?
And the homeboy from the town, from the Bay Area, man. The architect.
What's up? Peace, y'all.
Yeah, peace. Man. Yeah, man. I'm glad we got you on, man. You've been on my mind for for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Me wanting to holler at you on a couple of things, and my go-to, and I've said it to you a million times, but I'm gonna say it to the people. My go-to is that album you did with Opio, Vultures Wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
And the samples on it and just everything about it, man. That album was tight, man. Tight down to Cali Girls, the whole. Tell me, did you produce the whole record?
I produced the whole record.
Oh man,
it was like a group. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, because we ended up doing like two full records and an EP, and you know, it was like when we came, it was almost like a group. You know what I mean? But yeah, I produced the whole joint, man. And I didn't sample a lot on that record. Real talk. That was a record that I went out my way not to sample, to try to hopefully still capture the energy of sampling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I would say it was like some dialogue that was going on that I was really like, okay, you know what I'm saying? During the album, it was it was solid. It was real solid. So basically, with Splendid, I kind of bring a hip hop point of view in as we interview people, and then Jeremy, you know, he's a comedian, so he has his.
He brings a hip hop point of view too.
Yes, sir.
Jeremy said, but Jeremy's very knowledgeable though. He got like, man, you can't even, you know, you can't even doubt it. But basically, I always start off with when was the first time you heard hip hop and what was the song? That's just what I ask everybody, because I feel like if you over the age of 30, you probably got to see hip hop when it was something that wasn't the thing it is today. You know what I'm saying? Where it was kind of like, it was a beat. It was a drum beat that everybody couldn't catch. You know what I'm saying? But for those who knew, it was like, oh, like I remember for me, you know, me hearing the beginnings of hip hop, I guess after Rapper's Delight and all that, because that was kind of like party music a little bit, but getting into the Run DMC, the Curtis Blows, the Kool Moe Dees, like all that kind of stuff, it just kind of amazed me, just the talents of wordplay, the b-boying, the breakdancing, all that kind of stuff. But for you, when was the first time you heard it and what was the song?
Man, the first time, I would probably have to say, you know, it was a Rapper's Delight around that, you know what I mean? But I kind of want to say almost like Curtis Blow. See, my father was a DJ, so like he would have records, you know what I mean? So I remember the Rapper's Delight, but that didn't really strike me. I think it was Schoolie D, that first record Schoolie D had out, that really like flipped my mind, you know what I mean? Because I think I might have been in like 6th or 7th grade or something like that, and it was just like, the beats was hella hard on there. Like that was like the super energy. So I would have to say, you know, obviously I heard Curtis Blow. I had heard, you know, Rapper's Delight and all those things, but that was more like you said, that was like party kind of disco, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It was stuff like that actually, like, you know, but when I heard those particular records and Ultramagnetic MCs, you know, those things was things I could say really like made me say, oh shit. Oh, you know what? And Biz Markie, his first album. Though, like all of them and you know, they all kind of came at the same time. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but there wasn't a lot of space in my mind between all these, even though it was. It just seemed like, you know. But yeah, I would definitely go with that. Yeah. Schoolie D. So yeah, Schoolie D is the first time it really hit me in the head like, oh shit. Yeah.
Well, one, I want to ask you, I want to just jump right to it because you brought it up. How did Biz Marquis's passing affect you?
You know, that was, I mean, you know what me, man, it's like, it was definitely not cool, right? It was messed up. But the thing is, it's like showing me that, yo, like this hip hop shit is around. You know what I mean? Like it's here for real. Like, you know what I mean? I remember when Marvin Gaye died and my parents were shook up by that. You feel me? And I was shook up by that, but I didn't have no understanding. That wasn't really my generation. But to see somebody like Biz, DMX, like, you know, it's just showing us that, you know, hip hop, it's around, man. It's here. It's OGs out here passing away, man.
Did
you know what I mean? Like
really impacting the culture too, like really, and not just hip hop culture, like the passing of these cats affecting the culture of like what's going on now.
I mean, like, you know, back in the day when we was hearing boogers, who knew? You know what I mean? Like, who knew? I'm saying picking boogers, right? Who fucking knew?
No, I know what you're talking about. I'll say this.
My baby be watching the old Gabba Gabba.
That's
and I'm looking at Biz. I'm like, so, you know, and, you know, brothers have made full careers, like long careers. Remember, you was only supposed to have, like, you weren't supposed to go nowhere with hip hop. I mean, come on, we heard that our whole lives coming up.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
What I heard coming up, nigga, you can't be rapping when you 40. You can't be doing hip hop. Fools like, man, fools ain't gonna be doing it. I don't want to be doing hip hop when I'm 40 years old, man. That
right.
Like, in our 20s, that goes with the conversations.
Real talk.
Yeah.
And now,
oh man, come on,
did you ever think hip-hop was gonna be what it is?
I'm sorry, say again, bro.
Did you think hip hop was gonna be what it is today?
I really did, man. I mean, I didn't know it was going to be like, you know, I'm just saying, I knew it wasn't going away. Now, I didn't know what it was going to morph into as far as what it is today, but I knew that the hard work, at least I felt in my gut, it was too dope, man. There wasn't no way that shit was going. Rakim wasn't going nowhere. And they didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I could just feel that in my mind, like, these styles ain't going nowhere. And they still, to me at the time, because we were sampling, was like, I don't know, it was like almost some ancient type crafts. You know what I'm trying to say? Because we were reaching back, grabbing things, you know, and pushing the envelope going forward. So no, I always thought hip hop was gonna be here.
Man, I could say I didn't, man. I didn't think it was gonna be. I knew it was something like I knew that it was like some molecular type of kinetic energy type of thing that if it touched somebody, it really touched them. You know what I'm saying? It really touched them. But at the same time, I felt like it was only a select few that got touched. You know what I'm saying? But
that's that special time, man.
but
when the whole, you know, that's when it was us. It was like in the community, it was just smaller audience. So, you know, there's always like that. So the grassroots was like really about it, you know, and it, you know what I'm saying?
You know, my little theory behind it is kind of like, okay, with the cereals, they push cereals to kids with cartoons. They pushed like Wheaties and stuff like that with like athletes or whatever. But hip hop is so big and so powerful that like the corporations came in and they marketed, like they had a division for everything that was a thing. And I'll say they probably first came with the beverages, you know what I'm saying? And then from the beverages, they kind of like spread out and got into everything. But like the evil part of it is, you know, the corporations came in, dude, and like really changed the game, man. Like really, dude, all the way down to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Where like you look at things on YouTube and you could feel that you're organically having content come to you or whatever, but it's kind of like, you know,
you know, everything is regulated right now. That Wild West time, it's not. That's not there no more. Yeah. And there was like that Wild West time of hip hop, and the corporations come in, and you know, once they come in, like you said, they're gonna be having their own visions and doing their market studies, and you already know, like, you know what I'm saying? They test groups, and they're gonna be like, well, people like this, and then it just turns into all of that. But you know, I don't think anything creative in this world can get away from that happening eventually.
Oh no, everything's gonna be part of the machine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, everything's going. Yeah, you can't escape that. So, when did you first realize you had a passion for music?
You know, I would say once again, like around that same DJing early in times, and I wanted to know how they were making the records. You know what I mean? Like that was a big thing for me because at first I thought I didn't know what they were doing. I thought it was like really a DJ sitting there with two of the same things, you know, same records going back to back with them or something, because I just didn't know. But once I figured that out, got a sampler, that's when the passion took off. Because then I was, you know, that's when I was like, it got way more creative. It wasn't about what someone else was doing as much as, even though you had to study everything, but now you're going to go hear John Coltrane. You're hearing all this different music because you're looking for the breaks and the good parts. And, you know what I mean? So at that point, when I got the sampler, which was probably around like 8th grade or something like that, you know what I mean? My passion took off and I just did not stop after that.
So, excuse me. What city you grew up in?
I grew up in Milpitas, California, which is like right outside of San Jose.
Okay.
In the Bay Area.
The area.
Like Silicon Valley, basically.
Okay. Okay.
Which that shit sound hella cool now. You know what I mean? Didn't used to sound that cool back then, but you know, today, Silicon Valley, man, I grew up down there.
And it was a lot of space back then, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Really sure the price of real estate kind of wasn't what it is right now, you know what I'm saying?
Real talk. Whole different place, man. But yeah, so yeah, South Bay. But you know, being in the Bay Area, I traveled all around. You know, like I said, I got into music early, so you know, having a sampler, man. I mean, I remember back in the day, people would be taking pilgrimages to my house to see the sampler. People I didn't even know, the homie's friend, yo, he got the sampler. And they would come, you know what I mean? For real though. So I had met a lot of people all over the Bay Area just because at a young age, it was like, oh, this is the sampler. This is how the music is made. So, you know.
So where'd you go to junior high?
Oh, I grew up fully, like all my high school and junior high, everything was in Milpitas, which is a small city. You know what I mean? So everybody know each other, you know what I mean? So yeah.
So did you go to junior high or high school with any people in rap that we know about?
I went to high school with Charisma, you know, and Peanut Butter Wolf and Charisma.
Yeah.
I went to high school with Encore. I don't know if anybody knows who that is, but that's my man. He's one of the illest rappers too. People need to go check that. But yeah, Encore, I went to school with him. Most of the Stone, you know, most of the like people on the beginning of Stone's Throw, like Peanut Butter Wolf, like lived like not too far from my mother. You know what I mean? Maybe like 2 miles away. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Persevere, another MC, Dave Dub, all these different MCs who came on Stone's Throw in the beginning. Homeless Derelicts, Grand, we all lived in generally, you know, maybe like a 10-mile radius. You know what I mean?
That shows how much I know. I thought Stone's Throw was just like a LA record label, you know, with LA cats and, you know.
Yep. No, Silicon Valley at it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so, you know, but like Charisma is like I said, you know, he was like he was another dude, a big inspiration at the time because he had a record deal. So they was popping, you know, bless the brother soul, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like being around those rappers really made it to where I was able to have, you know, see a high skill level. You know what I mean? Like, you know, being around Wolf and because they're older than me at this point. But being around them, I could see that it helped, you know, for me to see a high skill level and see cats get record deals and all that stuff, you know, that it could be done.
So back then when you were going to junior high school, you seeing these cats around, could you see what the trajectory was with them at the time? Like I could say, I knew cats from the Pharcyde before I graduated high school. I could say I didn't know that rap was going to be their thing necessarily because they had singing groups and danced and, you know, they did a bunch of stuff. But I could say I knew that it was going to be something. I didn't know what, but I knew it was going to be something. Did you feel the same with like Charisma, Peanut Butter Wolf, and those cats back then? As far as
I did. I mean, I didn't really, well, here's one thing. So, like I said, when I let me see, how can I say this? I didn't know that Stone's Throw was going to be as big as it was, but I knew it would be something. Okay. I didn't know. I couldn't foresee. It never surprised me nothing that happened though. That it didn't surprise me when they signed Madlib and they signed Wu Pack because, I was right there while they were listening to those demo tapes and stuff like that. So I was aware of all of it, but I just didn't know that the people was going to gravitate like that. So I can definitely say I might not have seen that coming with Stone's Throw. And then Charisma, he was murdered too early to know, but I felt like he was going to be big. You know what I mean? Like, to me and people in my city, I thought he was like going to be humongous, which I believe he would have been. So, once again, I felt like in them days, I somehow got connected to it in a way where I was like, man, I'm going to make some money out of this. Like, I'm going to be able to do this. So I didn't really have very long of a period where I didn't feel like I was going to get paid. I was selling little beat tapes. Like I was immediately hustling. You know what I mean? So I always seen it as a business in a certain kind of a way,
Yeah. So, no, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was going to say, I would like, can you actually dive a little deeper into Stone Throw Records? I mean, it's a little ignorant of me, but I mean, I just feel like this, being a fan of like just certain artists from that, from MF Doom to Jay Dilla to, this is so many people that I came up. Stone, that's only my only association with Stone Throw, and you're the first person I ever heard kind of elaborate on even a little bit. I even say like Madlib. I think it was specifically Talib Kweli's Liberation. I think that's what put me on to all that, and then from there I just started diving. But I mean, if you could like elaborate more on like your relationship with Stone Throw and how it kind of came along as a company, that was actually really interesting.
Well, as far as I go with Stone's Throw, like I said, Homeless Derelicts, which is me and Grand the Visitor, Peanut Butter Wolf, and Charisma, we were actually all in the same management at one point. Mm-hmm. Even though we'd already knew each other, but, they were like, yo, you need to meet the manager, boom, boom. We were all in the same management, and so we, like I said, then we all knew each other. We already had a rapport. So when their deal went bad or whatever happened with the deal, and what happened with Charisma, I think Peanut Butter at that point started his own label or whatever, and some of the first records he released were the records that we were doing. So the Homeless Derelicts, Cash Money, Encore's Defined by the Dollar, Persevere, I can't remember the name of that record, Persevere record, where those did the cover. Those three records, and I think there was another one we did. All those records were rappers I had been working with, and I produced those first records for Stone. So I think it's like number 003 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was just because we were making music. Peanut Butter had the line to get the vinyls done, and he was working, doing what he was doing. So it was natural for us to go and put records out with him, Yeah. Then, he moved to LA. Things got a little more busy. I moved on to other things. So I don't have much of details of what happened after, after I would say the 90s, because by the 2000s, I was already moved on into my own situation. So doing something different. Yeah.
So what's the origin of your name?
Wow. So my name originally, I hate to say this, my name was G Love originally, right? And, whatever. But, lucky for me, another person that came out named G Love was Special Sauce. And I couldn't live with trying, back in the day, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't just be like using the same name. Everything was like,
he was kind of big, first, man.
And he was big. So there was no way in hell I could roll with it no more. It's like I had to eat that. I was like, well, you ain't gonna be G Love. So I think I might have been listening to a song from Guru or something on Jasmine Tab. And he was like, I'm the architect. And I was like that name, the architect. And, I was thinking about it for a while, used it in a couple, you know what I mean? Ran it past the homies and that stuck. That's what it was.
Yeah. It has a lot of variations of your name on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
One I like the best is Archangel.
Yeah, that's definitely another moniker.
Yeah, it's tight. Yeah, so let's see.
So,
Go
ahead, Jeremy.
Go ahead. I was about to ask a question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, so how did you end up hooking up with the Souls?
You know, being in the scene, we was always crossing paths. You know what I mean? And just like, you know, I don't know, we was just always crossing paths. But then in like the early 2000s, they had a studio in Hyde Street. And I ended up getting a studio over at Hyde Street, you know, and they had, you know, like the real joints. I had to mix, you know, the whole joint. And I was next door to them. But we had already knew each other, but you know what I'm saying, on passing and friend, you know, cool shit. But in that period of time, you know, cats got to really get to know each other on a whole nother level because we blacking out in the lab. You know what I mean? 24 hours a day working. They working on their stuff. I'm doing my stuff. So, you know, that's really where the bond was really made. And since then, it's just been some homie shit, just friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I you know, me and Ope probably, I mean, when the side was kind of doing a project with the Souls, me and Ope really got to know each other. And then on CaliCon, we kind of kicked it or whatever. But, you know, it's a trip because I remember saying something to Ope about some production. And Ope was like, and this was like years ago. This was like the early 2000s or whatever. And he was like, man, Plus got the, you know, Plee got the heat, man. He, you know, Plee got the heat. You know, he got beat. And then I went back and kind of did my research on hieroglyphics and Souls of Mischief songs. And he'll just come with those one. And like people don't put him in the vein of a producer. You know what I'm saying? They see him as the MC and everything. But, you know, when Opio brought it to my attention, I was like, damn. Plus, we'll come with those ones, you know.
No, he be having the ones too, bro. He be having them joints, all them ones. Please, all day.
Yeah,
all day. He be having heat, man. That's what, like you said. I mean, I really respect his whole, you know what I mean, his whole production style and craft. Even like I was saying, we had did those records together last year. Working with him was just like intense because you know we trying to keep up with the workload and the, you know what I mean, and like making sure stuff ain't whack and. Like I said, he's like an ill rapper, and you know, making beats for an ill rapper that's a producer is a heavy task because they rap on their own beats. So if they really don't like, you know what I mean? Like I can make my own shit. I don't need, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Do you approach each project or collaboration the same way, or is it different per artist?
I would say it's pretty much different per artist. You know what I mean? Usually we like build, you know what I mean? I'm just old school, you know, we sit in the lab building, chopping it up. That'll usually come up with the idea for the song, maybe not, but just the energy of building will kind of define with that person, you know, chopping it up, seeing where our mind's at, you know what I mean? Coming to a meeting of the minds. It might not even be about the song, but whatever it is, that's the energy I try to like input into the song. Up for the beat that I pick for the person or whatever it may be, so that we kind of what I envision hearing their voice on or hearing them on and the energy of who that person is.
The blueprint.
You know what I mean? And that defines it.
I was saying, I see you an A+ is kind of like Fresh Prince Jazzy Jeff. Is that like the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like I like Talib and dang, what's his name?
High Tech, Most Def.
Yeah, Cincinnati actually. Yeah, I would say is that like the connection y'all have, or it's just you with various artists?
I would definitely say me and Plee got that type of connection. You know what I mean? We definitely got that kind of connection. You know what I mean? I must say that. But me and Opio have that kind of connection. I'm doing a record with Tajay right now. We have that kind of connection. You know, I just connect with the people. Like I said, I try to connect with the rappers, especially if we're doing a whole project. And try to just, you know, just vibe really. Like I said, try to really get the vibe so that each individual record is distinctive to the artist because of how they vibe, you know? So I would say, you know, I approach everything almost like a group, but definitely everything I do with the Souls, individual or together. that's like straight fam.
And I will say, Vultures Wisdom is probably one of my favorite albums of the 2000s.
Wow, thank you, bro.
Like, yeah, I could say that I really go to that album for different types of mental focus that I need, depending on what I'm trying to, you know, when I set my mind to a little goal or something like that. Back when I was hitting the club and it was mischief, yeah, we threw in Vultures Wisdom. Back when we was motivation, yep, we tap on the Vultures Wisdom on that too.
Yeah, man, that's good though, because that's what we, you know, that was that funny time in the industry where everything was changing when that record dropped. You know what I'm saying? So like YouTube was brand new. People was like, you can't sell CDs, vinyl's going away. You know, everything was happening right at that moment. So it was like, you know, me and Ope was like, yo, man, we gotta rock, man. We gotta put some stuff out, man. We can't let all these changes and all this stuff going on make it to where we can't make no move. So we just went ahead and recorded and got busy.
And not because Ope is the homie, but I'll say his verses on Vice Versa are immaculate. If anybody's listening and you want to hear the art of storytelling in a rhyme, check out Vultures Wisdom, OPO, Vice Versa. The way he lay, and I had a conversation with him about it. I was like, man, how did you? He's like, dude, that's the homies. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, you know some very flavorful individuals. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, real talk. Definitely one of my favorite albums I've done. I must say myself, I'm very proud of that piece of work.
Nice.
I mean,
so who your top 3 favorite rappers?
Woo, that's a hard one. DJ Z Nas. No, I'm just playing. Even though that's like the normal thing, right? So we just say that off top. You know, I'm gonna go to the younger heads that I'm listening to right now, because I mean the old heads, I mean, I have my favorite rappers from the old school, but I mean, that ain't gonna be very, you know, it's not gonna be exciting. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna say on some new stuff in the last, like I like the God Fahim. I think that brother's amazing. You know what I'm saying? I would put him in this new era. Obviously, I love Planet Asia though. I mean, that's my dude. I think he's the illest to me, you know. I might be biased, but yo, Planet Asia is one of the illest.
You want to hear something funny real quick? I hooked up with Master Kirk on Sunday. He was in town for a hot sec. You know what I'm saying? So I went and I saw him, whatever. We slapped elbows.
Yeah.
We slapped elbows real quick. And like, I was introduced to Planet Asia through Master Kirk, which, you know, is crazy because Kirk, he don't get a lot of the credit either for that time and space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The time and space. Like, dude, he really had a lot of albums with Kool Keith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, for real, a lot of albums. And he had a lot to do with Dilated Peoples, if I'm not mistaken. That
he produced that
hard ass joints in the beginning. He produced.
Yeah, he produced the the breakthrough cut and whatever. And it's
now this is what I got. Now check this out. You're gonna love this. Master Kirk, dude. Now he's a reason why him and Kev, because see, they had that 90.1 show, and he's a big reason why I would even know what records to buy. Because him and Kev will be DJing, and they was, I don't know why they had the line to all the New York stuff. I don't know what it was, but they had everything early on Stanford, 90.1 Stanford.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying? And I will be, like I said, man, listening to that joint on Sunday on my radio, trying to get it in, and they would just, I got to give it to Master Kirk, man, and Kev.
You know what? It's so funny because you saying that, I remember while we were out on the road with him, I want to say he gave me a CD of one of his radio shows, and I don't know if they had Wu-Tang. For whatever reason, my mind says that they had Wu-Tang, whatever.
I wouldn't be surprised. That was a stock that everybody made back in the day.
Yeah. So yeah, I just had not to cut into who your top 3 were, but I was like,
Yeah, but you are, yeah.
No. You said
real,
Asia. Man. You said Asia. And there's no way that I couldn't even talk about it. Like literally, when we did CaliCom, I want to say we did with Planet Asia, Shape, Rascal. Rascal's your folks too.
All day.
I'll say we probably did like 28 shows in 35 days, something like that. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those real
brutal.
Couple of buses lined up. Start off on this side of the country, go to that side of the country, come back.
Yep.
So who else you checking, man?
Yeah, man.
Is that 3?
Oh yeah, that ain't 3. All right, so let me see. Number 3. I gotta think somebody good. Number 3. I already said Asia. Man, let me think. You know what, man? I like Large fucking Professor, man. I like Large Professor, man. You know what I mean? Like, he's just one of my favorites in general. So, I mean, maybe, just in general. So I got to put him in there, man.
This isn't about me, but I am going to share, because I'm thinking of 2 people that one's getting the shine that I kind of think they deserve, and the other one's hard. Freddie Gibbs and Currency.
Okay. They hard though. I like them.
Freddie Gibbs, to me, Freddie Gibbs, when he raps, he's busting. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's busting. Like, he's not just saying words that are just kind of whatever. He got the rhymes, he got the energy, he got everything, and it's just like 0 to 80. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Gibbs is raw. There ain't no question.
And then Currency, I got turned on to Currency too. Currency's though.
Yeah, Currency's raw. He be on the, he be laid back though. That's why I like Currency. And his beats be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just picking some ill beats, man. I'll be like, this dude, who wouldn't know any rap on that? I love to hear fools rap on like sample beats that you wouldn't think would normally, you know what I mean, do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I really like when Gibbs was getting down with Madlib. I really like that. Just like, you know what I mean?
Oh man, that was. I'll tell you something. If you want to listen to something that's kind of dope, I like the DJ Premier. Basically, Premier took Nipsey's acapellas, and he, for the victory lap, and he put Premier beats on it. And that's just hard.
Oh, I'm gonna peep that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, man. R.I.P. Nip, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I just actually met Freddie Gibbs recently. He was doing a comedy show at the Comedy Store, and yeah, it's crazy. Like a better rapper for sure.
he was telling jokes.
Huh?
He was telling jokes.
Yeah, I mean, he was funny. I ain't gonna lie, he was funny, but man, he was all over the place, and it was gross. It was gross. But no, that was I got a lot of respect for him, because of that. Just to try to switch genres real quick.
Wow, can't be mad at that. Hey, that's gonna work. Keep at it. That's gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Like I tell a lot of people that come on the show, me knowing Jeremy kind of like as my cheat code in the comedy. Like, I didn't realize the level of nuts and everything else it take to be being a producer, being a singer, an athlete, those are all things. But dude, to really have to go out in front of somebody, put it this way. This is what I got out of knowing Jeremy and really peeping like some like comedy on different levels. You can't be a one-trick pony. It's not gonna work. It is not gonna work.
No, it's definitely, because it's silent. It ain't like they're coming out with, you know what I mean, booming music. If things go wrong, at least the song's gonna keep playing. You know what I mean? It's straight silence. They got to straight hold the whole crowd like on some, you know what I mean? So I feel you. That's a high level of performing right there.
Hey, alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You ain't got no backup. You ain't got nobody to get your vocal.
You know what I mean?
You ain't got no dancers. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real talk right there. Yeah, man.
Who are your top 3 favorite producers?
That's a good one. You know, I like Dre. You know, I gotta always give it to Dre. Premier. And Extra P, man, like I said, I'm a big Large Professor fan. His styles, he be killing it with the drums to me, hella heavy. So I'd have to go with them.
Now he made both your lists.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I don't know. You know, and One Main Source was a big thing to me, man. You know what I mean? I thought that shit was crazy with the double DJs, you know what I mean? And just, you know.
Hey,
even though he's, you know. You know, I want to say Benny the Butcher though. I'm sorry, I got to go back to that other list.
For the new
Benny the Butcher's on my list. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. That dude be barring up. He be barring up, bro.
That is right
here. Show off.
Oh, see, there you go. What?
And that show.
we wouldn't have we would have Nas, but we wouldn't have the same Nas without Live at the Barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Like, man.
I mean, think about it. Ain't nobody. I mean, I can't think of anybody's verse who hit the public where, you know, and this is before the internet. Like, people was talking about that verse. Like, you feel me though? Like I've now heard nobody. I mean, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who's had impacted with one verse. Where everybody gotta know who that is. Like, who is this?
Oh, man. And it's, you know, it's amazing. I've been listening to different podcasts that revolve around kind of like Jay-Z and Nas and their interactions with each other, the grown-up interactions as well as the interactions before that. And it was interesting to hear like both of these cats was like the king of New York. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they kind of was, you know, they were going at each other. And honestly, man, I can't say one is doper, man. I mean, like on a straight flat line. You can take little peaks and valleys, and you can just, you know, do peaks and valleys or whatever. But both of them are just very talented cats, man. Now, a lot of people have issue with the beats that Nas picks. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think Nas picks whack beats. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's the level of MC he is. Like, he may hear a beat that he knows he can, like, you know what I'm saying? He knows what he's gonna do.
I feel that. No, you know, I was building with one of my homies, and he was like, you know, like, when we, like I said, Live at the Barbecue, boom, we get Nas, and that might have been 91, 92 when that came out. You know what I'm trying to say? So now he's had a whole career, and his audience ain't us no more. So maybe he's picking beats that he think his audience that we may not be, because I mean, I'm a Nas fan, but I mean, I'm not necessarily like, he ain't depending, his money ain't depending on me, believe that, right? In my
not getting tickets. People, so if Nas was performing tomorrow, you wouldn't be getting tickets.
I would be there. I would be there. No, what? No question. In fact, I'm trying to download the new joint that's coming. Yep. I'm never going to not know what Nas is doing when he releases a record, but I would say as far as the beats go, they may not be my favorite. I believe he's doing that because he knows more about his audience than the diehard Nas fans of the 90s. That's my only explanation. As far as Jay-Z goes, man, you know, you got to give it to him too, because, bro, man, complicated if you think about it. And to have so much, you know, be recognized in such a way and have like commercial success, got to give it to the man. He didn't have to do no 1, 2, 3, you know, ABC, 1, 2, 3, none of that jazz, man. This fool out here rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I gotta take my hat off to Jay-Z for that.
And with that being said, in my opinion, if you want to hear excellence, Black Republicans.
Oh yeah,
Nas and Jay-Z. That is excellent. And then I'll say on Jay-Z, where a lot of people don't like kind of give him his credit. Brooklyn's Finest with him and Big. Ooh, they are sparring. They are sparring. They're sparring hard. It's like bars for bars. It's like, man, it's exhausting listening to it, but it's dope. It's like, man,
right. Yo, even that first album, it was funny because that first Jay-Z album, I seen it go over people's heads. And I seen people grow up like 2 years, and them same motherfuckers was listening to it like, oh, I was like, y'all get it now, huh? You know what I mean? Like, that was a crazy thing. That album, I mean, I don't know if they repackaged it, promoted, or how that happened, but I remember that first album going over people's head, and like literally 2 years later, that album was like, people got it for some reason. And you know, Jay-Z was murdering on that album.
You know what, the beauty of like the music industry back then, but gift and a curse, because all of it was cool and crazy at the same time. But it's like you could have a deal and have a distributor, and then they're trying to do something with an album, and then somehow they fall off or run out of money or neglect the contract or whatever, and somebody could just straight pick that same project up, remarket it, like you said, repackage it, whatever, and shoot it out, and then have a chance for some whole new life. Like I want to say Lab Cabin with the Pharcyde might have had a couple of distribution deals, you know, at different points, been distributed by different people, and maybe was all right too. That was before I was managing them, but I do recall things being moved like kind of like mid whatever things, you know, switching up. But that was like the beauty of the industry, you know, kind of back then, where stuff had a chance. I know somebody who's putting out something right now, and it's kind of like they're ready to go, and I kind of feel for them, because Tajay did a song with the Pharcyde, and he used it called Future. As a matter of fact, he used a term called Jiffy Pop culture. And so it's kind of like with Jiffy Pop culture right now, it's like nothing has life. Like everything is just like a cycle of social media interactions, and then it may pop up on a Flashback Friday or a Throwback Thursday, or you know,
real
whatever.
talk.
But as far as something coming out and really having traction, you just have to be in front of so many eyes. Like I'll give you an example. I listen to 2 podcasts right now, and both podcasts that I listen to more than that, but with these 2 particular podcasts, 2 different ones, Ice Cube has commercials that don't run off of YouTube, but it actually starts on these people's podcasts, and it's like the big 3. Like you hear the big 3 at the beginning of it, and then I'm like, man, it's this is what it is. And you would think Ice Cube, NWA, movie star, you know, just superstar. You would think that he didn't have to promote and do all the things that he has to do. But for me to see him go that hard on the big 3, that just makes me say, not about that it's not successful, but more like, man, even when you have something that people want, it still takes that work of the marketing and all those things to get in front of the people so that they know it's there.
Exactly. You know, it's funny, like with the industry shit is like another gift and curse. It's like that quality control that kind of sucked, but it just made it to where it never could be so flooded to how it is now. You know what I mean? And you had to be good and know somebody. I mean, I know that people don't like all that type of gatekeeper stuff. I don't either. But when the floodgates are open, it just makes it hard for everybody at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
But you know what, man? I still got hope, man.
Oh, no, we good, though. I'm talking about the other cats.
because the crazy thing about it is, even with one perception of the bar being dropped so low, you know what I'm saying, in different ways, there's just still some talented cats out there, man, that make me, you know, like it kind of seems like whenever my hope is kind of like, oh man, somebody will just rise and I'll say, okay, nah, there are people that do what I feel good music was that are doing it right now. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, it's not my music. Like, it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can remember the Jungle Brothers. I can remember Tribe Called Quest, you know, Queen Latifah, like all that. I can like remember that movement. And then it's kind of like, that was for then. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a big deal, late 80s to early 90s. And then if they were lucky enough to get residual, you know,
right,
stuff, you know, up on after that, after the big impact, then that was great. But like right now, the kids are just interested in different stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And this is true. You know what I mean? Like, and it's something, you know, it's true, but it's not, it doesn't have to be a problem though. Oh, you know what I mean? But it is true. Like, people just are not interested in the same, like you said, they're not going to want to, but see, I move with technology anyways as a producer, you know what I mean? And as a musician and a creator in general. And I think sometimes, like, I'll give a good example, like West Side Gun. Like, they are doing the fundamentals, but you couldn't do those same fundamentals. You can't loop no record on no SP1200 for no 18 bars. Like, you couldn't do that. You could not do that. So now that technology is brought into a place where it could be done, I mean, even with rock, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of the stuff they're doing is like, you just couldn't, there wasn't enough sample time in the samplers to do it. Mm-hmm. Now every sampler comes with 20 minutes of sampling and this and that. You know what I mean? So you know, if you move with the technology, you can innovate on some of them old styles. You know, I don't know if people, I mean, and look, even with the George Floyd, people tried to go back to some Fight to Power. They didn't really have the soundtrack, but
nah. they had the what do you call it? They had the spirit. They had the spirit. The actions was a little flawed, you know what I'm saying? But they had the spirit. The spirit was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you need that soundtrack, boy. You need that soundtrack. Sometimes that soundtrack that, you know, we all putting it on and we, you know, and we all getting in the same vibe and energy. Sometimes that helps to keep things disciplined enough to where you might get something done.
I said
that lasts for a while.
The last we had was a while. I said the last one we had was Kendrick Lamar's All Right, We Gonna Be All Right. It was like marching the streets to that.
Yeah, that was dope. That was good.
But that wasn't Fight the Power, man.
Are you right? Real quick, because we got some comments. Pretty much people been supporting you. You got Sivo. He said, G Motown Love, or M-Town Love, sorry. Always respect your gifts, skills, and talent, my brother. You also got Chris Clark. He said, I see you, family, M-Town. Killer Tapes 93. I don't know these people's names, but big ups to the architect, first ballot Hall of Famer. And then also, we have a couple of questions. One is, what is your dream artist that you want to work with?
Wow. Well, first I want to say, peace to all the folks that shouted me out, man. I love you guys, man. Y'all already know, off top. Man, I want to work with Jay-Z. I ain't gonna front. You know what I mean? I want to go right to the top of the food chain, bro. And I think I'll make some stuff that will have people like, yo. Because remember, I'm about that conversation beforehand. It's, you know, music is secondary. It's about that energy, like what we gonna build on before we do this. It don't have to be a long conversation, but you know, a little something, and then it'll, you know, then we pop on with work. You know what I mean? But yeah, top of the food chain, man. Jay-Z.
What's that song called? I already kind of hear it. What is it?
Shit. Jay-Z don't know. You know, he stepped through the joint with no paper. Just come off, he'll be nodding his head. You know, we'll build on something real quick, and then he'll kick that rhyme on, you know, off the top of his head, as they say.
If we wanted to take somebody who's watching and kind of catch him up to speed, because see, I know who you are. Like I know who you are as a person, and I know who you are as an artist, that I like to listen to the music. But for somebody who don't know you, like I'm a fan and a homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, I can say, you know, I've dedicated, you know, cleaning hours and working in my warehouse and just all that to Vultures Wisdom. But if you wanted to start somebody and kind of introduce them who the architect is, what would be a good place for them to start?
I would say Stone's Throw, Homeless Derelicts. That would be the best place to start. Stone's Throw, Homeless Derelicts. Planet Asia. You know, I mean, I mentioned this before, but I did do a song for Coolio back in the day called I Remember, which really was another introduction to me really understanding that you can get paid off of this and you can really make a living and this can be real. So that was a big, important moment I want to put out there. But yeah.
How'd you meet Coolio? Not how
this is interesting. So see the sampler thing. So this is crazy. So the sampler thing, right? So one of my homies from back in the day, his sister's really good friend happened to know Coolio's brother. I don't know that, you know, they had their thing, whatever. But everybody knew I had the sampler and I made beats. So when dude came to town, I guess to hang out, the word of God over to dude that, yo, little dude make beats down here and he's got a sampler and you know what I mean? And homegirl, they all came to my house and Coolio's brother came in there, Spoon, and he heard me. He's like, man, just play some stuff. Boom, I play a few beats. He's like, oh man, okay, you really can make some beats. He leaves. 2 months later, I get like a phone call like, yo, come to LA. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, cool. I jump in the car, you know what I'm saying? I just graduated. So I was like, man, fuck it. Jump in the car, drive to LA. And, you know, basically hang out down there with them and we making the beats and, you know, I'm making beats and they're basically building the album, It Takes a Thief. So I'm watching them pretty much do that as a young dude and seeing how they making all these moves and put it together. You know, how they got artists that this time they had their own like artists. Like they was like, you know, the 40 Thieves and all this. They was putting cats up. You feel me? Like at a hotel. Not a hotel, I'm sorry, an apartment. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a big deal. And the funniest thing about that is I had been in there super creative, like on my whole creative thing, making beats all day. And I was turning them off. Because, you know, it took a long time to save, right? Man, Coolio was like, hey, man, the next beat you make, that's the beat. Dude, we had been there for a few hours. Like, that's the beat. And the next beat I made, I wasn't even necessarily, like, juiced about it, but the next one I made, that was the beat. Pigs, I'm writing to that. Boom, boom. Had the guys, GAT, Gangsters and Thugs, like a singing group. They sang on it. And then he was like, who you think should get on it? And I was like, man, let's get J-Ro on it from the Alcoholics, because I love the Alcoholics. And he was all right, cool. They made some calls. Boom. Next thing I know, J-Ro's on the song.
Dang.
Yeah.
We got another question from the comments. They said, will you release another project with Noah the Flood anytime soon?
Yeah, that's gonna come soon, man. We cooking up. You know what I'm saying? We cooking right now. You know, this next one's gonna be a doozy. I want this joint to really hit hard. So, you know, we're just working to make sure we come with the best we can come with.
And they got another one, Dang. Okay, what was the mindset of homeless derelicts during the creation of Raise It Up? Sorry.
That's interesting. All right, Raise It Up. Well, we was, like I said, I had the studio next to Hyro and them. So while we were doing that record, you know, we were just like, yo, man, you know, the bar is high around here, man. We in High Street Studios. So, you know, during that album, I felt like we were really trying to put our best foot forward. It was really clean, you know. We tried to really think it out. So I would say that was a mind state really on some like, yo, we got to make sure this joint is clear, proper, and clean.
What would your dream verses be? Dead or alive?
Ooh. That's a good one. Man, I'm gonna come back to that. Let me think about that for a second.
I'm gonna tell you what. It's crazy because I don't get wrapped up into the whole verses thing. You know, I too much stuff. I really don't even get whatever. But I will say, after this podcast, I cannot wait to get to what the Dipset and the Locks.
I ain't gonna front, right?
to see what is going on because they're both flashy kind of guys, and they both have catalog and repertoire. And man, I gotta say, you know what though? I'll say this: they both kind of empower people in their own way. Me as being an entrepreneur, hustler, all that kind of stuff. You know, I can look at Jim Jones and I can say, okay, I get his. But then Styles P, man, he's a motivational cat, man. He owns a couple juice bars. You know what I'm saying? He figured a way to, you know, kind of flip it, and then, you know, that's the kind of energy I draw off of. I just like to see cats.
No, definitely.
You know, because like our conversation on the B-roll before we went live, I was saying you can never say who's gonna be what or what they're gonna turn into or like what their journey will be, just based off the example we used off of a cat that I knew who was just like, he's just like a little guy around. You know what I'm saying? You never, at that moment in time, you never would have thought he would be who or where he is now. Nothing to do with his talent, but just that he was just on a whole other path. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, you know, me personally, man, I love Cam though. I like Cameron, bro. Cameron be, you know, he be barring too though. Cameron's not to be slept on. You know, he may be acquired taste, I don't know, but I like Cameron. He's killing it, and his attitude is just, that's, you know, every you know, we need to have that kind of an attitude. You know what I mean?
Level of confidence is high with that one. You know?
That's how Cameron on the Drink Champs podcast, man. He was dropping hella game, man. Like just, you know, you people forget how wise he is. You know what I mean? Because he clown around a lot, but that man got a lot of wisdom. He's seen a lot, and the way he played chess, man. Him and Dame Dash, man. Like,
no. They've been around for a while too. You know, like I said, people be like, man, don't be getting it. Like, these dudes was doing this stuff way back. Long careers, man. Cameron was out in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know,
hats off to them brothers.
Say it again?
I said hats off to them brothers.
Yes, absolutely. Let me see. We have another question. Madlib or Alchemist? Alchemist.
Ooh, okay, y'all. All right now. Man. I gotta go with Madlib, bro. I mean, I gotta go with Madlib, man.
Church.
That's it?
You said Madlib or Alchemist?
Yeah, that's it.
Madlib. I mean, I love Alchemist. Don't get it twisted. I love Alchemist. I'm not, you know, I have no, you know, but I mean, if I had to go with one or the other, I'm going with Madlib.
I thought you were going to give a reason.
Oh, a reason? Oh,
these are peers, man. These are peers. You know what I'm saying?
I want to start that. Hey, how about this? Describe your process, if you don't mind. If it's like Kentucky Fried Chicken, don't tell everybody.
Nah. My process is like, you know, like I said, I like to, you know, be in here with the folks, get the conversation going. I'll start rolling through records, just moving the needles around. You know, I don't really sit down and try to get all like, you know, it's got to be the vibe, man. So I like move the needle around. I try to get right to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the record. I throw it on the ground and I keep moving. I'm not a collector. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't like that joint. Boom, we keep it moving. And eventually, you know, you just keep putting stuff in the gumbo and it's going to come out right eventually.
I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to make it easy for you on that verses. We not going to say, what would your dream verses be? We'll say this. What would the dream Bay Area verses be? If you had two of the cats from the Bay Area.
I mean, they already did shorten E40, so yeah, you know what I mean? They already done did that. So that's
but they were together though. That wasn't one. I'm talking about two of the people's champs. Like people like 40, they like short, but I'm saying somebody who's the people's champ over here, somebody who's the people's champ over here. You bringing them together, and they ain't even got to be super known like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just talking about some Bay Area stuff.
What you think, man? You got any?
Mac Dre.
Of course, Mac Dre.
Yeah, Mac Dre. Okay, we get that.
I said Mac Dre all day.
We get Mac Dre against who?
Man, maybe
Spice One.
Mac Dre and the Jacker. That could be crazy. Spice One. That could be crazy. Mac Dre and Spice One would be kind of crazy.
That would be hard.
You know what I'm saying? Because they kind of in the same actual era too. And Spice One had some heat. Oh, man, Spice One. You know what I mean? Like Spice One had some heat on them first records, bro. Like Ann Banks and them. Was Ann Banks doing them beats? No, it wasn't Ann Banks. No, it was whoever was doing them beats. Oh, EA Ski, I think, was doing those beats.
Mm-hmm.
That's
fire.
Yep.
Fire. Trigger has no heart and all that
I'm
stuff.
I'm gonna go back and search the files on Spice One. I know I saw him on an interview or something about a week ago or something. Like, man,
he's still rocking. Yep.
No joke. You know what I'm saying?
Crash Bandicoot.
He was wild. Yeah. Nah, Spice, Spice had bars though, and his beats was insane. I'm sorry, them beats was insane.
Pop used to try to sound like Spice. And Scarface, they both took influences from Spice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! Speaking on that, man, we gonna give a rest in peace to Gonzo. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man, definitely, man. R.I.P. to the God, man. Damn.
Yeah, we witnessing too much death, man. We really witnessing too much death. And then a Bay Area legend, rest in peace to Gifted Gab, since we on that.
Absolutely. We've done that brother's another monster with the mic. A monster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Smithsonian level. You know what I mean? Like that one A to Z song you did back, man. Gifted Gab was amazing, man. Oh, so like a cool Bay Area, another cool Bay Area versus could be like maybe like Souls of Mischief or Hyro and Black Alicious and that whole crew. You know what I'm saying? That whole Soul Size crew and all that kind of stuff. That could be cool. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Hyro just got a lot, man, and it's just so many different personalities, and the cats are just, it's crazy because it's like, okay, you got Souls. But then you have like the
you got Dell, you got Casual,
you
got
you got
no real talk though. I always believe that there should be like I mean this was just like some bass should be like the Wu-Tang and Hyro. That's another good one too.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? That could be real interesting. You know what I'm saying? I mean Dell's a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could get crazy, man.
Would you consider yourself a conspiracy theorist?
Not like I know I wouldn't say that because the era of where I'm talking about, you had to go buy the book and actually read the whole book, and you know what I mean. And then you would go actually talk with human beings in person and be like, "Yo, so how do we feel about this?" And then maybe somebody might have a little extra information or something in a book that might add on to whatever we was building on at the time. So, I'm not really down with the like
memes
and all this kind of like, ain't even got this like, if you ask me, there is no information on the internet. If you ask me.
No footnotes, no nothing. They just see a pretty picture and some text attached to it. And somebody, did you just hear that such and such is the
It'd be crazy, man. So nah. In a real, like I said, I couldn't put myself because I'm like all that Trump and conspiracies, and just all of that kind of jazz, man. I'm not messing with none of that. None of that.
Don't say
like they even said, listen, they said, where's all the arrests?
For what?
Or if you were into the conspiracy theory people, they'd be talking about these people supposed to get arrested. I ain't gonna get into it, but I've heard what they've said, and they ain't been nothing really to confirm anything. So I'm cool, bro.
I'll say
buy some books, people.
What's the most outlandish?
Sorry, say again. I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Most outlandish thing you heard?
You mean like on just some outlandish wildness?
Yeah, because we got flat Earth, there's so many theories. Like I was wondering what's like the most wildest one you heard, or most recent one you heard.
Let me think. What's the most wildest one?
I'll tell you one. They say there's people who believe birds aren't real. They think all birds are cameras.
Oh wow! Now that's a new one on mine. Wow. Okay. Now, do they have evidence of this? They got one little pelican with a camera in his eyeball. I mean, with the birds. See, this is what I'm saying. Birds are available. Birds are available to us. You can go buy a bird at the pet shop if you want to chase one down. You feel what I'm trying? You can go to the grocery store, get a dead chicken. Birds is real, homie. They exist.
They had a big old billboard. You know how in Hollywood Boulevard is a big billboard that said birds aren't real.
Wow. I mean, you know, hey. I can't even think that. You know, and the reason, like I said, there's a few that bother me, but you know, I don't want to get too caught off where, you know, these fools come attacking me behind this and have my DMs blown up behind the flat earth and all this stuff. But yeah, I'm not down with flat earth. I'm not down with that. I'll put that one out there.
Yeah, I had somebody try to argue me that. I had somebody try to argue me that. Well, why not? Well, how do you know? Like,
because flat is flat. And if you got shit going up and down like mountains and valleys, then that shit ain't flat. So we can get to the details, but we can agree that it ain't flat.
Okay. What about the?
There. Let's just start there. It's not flat. Okay. There's oceans, there's valleys, there's big hills. It ain't flat. Now, how you feel about the horizon and whatnot, you know, whatever. But it ain't flat. So call it something else. Not flat Earth. That's incorrect.
What about the Mandela effect? You heard about that?
I have heard about that. Now that's kind of interesting. I think the Mandela effect is kind of interesting.
Enlighten me.
Because we kind of lived through that. So like the Bernstein Bears and all this kind of stuff. Now I actually don't really, I mean, there was like Mandela died in the 70s. I don't remember that because I remember they had that song out. Remember that hip hop song they had out for Mandela in the like mid-90s? In the mid-90s, remember there was a hip hop song.
No, it was with the Fugees. I want to say, was it the Free Mandela?
It was some Free Mandela, but this was like more like, I think like Grandmaster Melon kind of dudes was on this. It was like around the We Are the World time, that type of time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they had a song, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, like
so the man was alive then, I guess. And, you know, yeah. That gets strange. The Mandela effect gets strange. I personally believe that's part of like people doing the thing with the internet. So now you seeing different stuff now. So your mind and your memories are, you know, that's how I look at that. I don't know.
Oh, some of them got me, man. Like the Monopoly guy having a monocle. He's never had a monocle. Man, there's a bunch of words.
Yeah, those were strange. Those were strange, but
you don't have any yourself.
Of the Mandela joints that I thought was weird.
No. Just theories that you just be like, yo.
Oh, just general theories.
And can't nobody prove me, you know what I mean? Prove me wrong. Like this is like my own personal belief. Like I got one.
You know, I don't think people are leaving the atmosphere. I mean, I don't think anybody's actually left out of the atmosphere. I mean, I don't know if that can be considered a conspiracy. I don't think anybody's got really through the firewall or, you know, the actual full atmosphere. So I don't think they got on the moon. They might have got close peek at it, but I don't think they have gotten out there. Why? Because there'd be McDonald's, you go get Chick-fil-A on the moon. We'd be going, they already trying to go vacation. If they had been to the moon, they would already hook that up 50 years ago. They already trying to charge fools $200,000 to go get no gravity. So they couldn't have went to the moon. There have already been McDonald's there in Great America.
You always tell a real because they always like, this ain't no conspiracy, but, and then say some stuff like that. This is just the truth.
You know, with that said, I'm not against people trying to open their mind. I'm not against people seeking knowledge. You know, I just say that, you know, take it with a grain. Make sure you're getting all the knowledge that you're getting is correct. You know, you don't want like, you know, make sure you studying who gave you the knowledge in the first place. So, you know what I mean?
Shoot a DM to Brother Casual, man. He'll give you some literature, you know what I'm saying? To do your research. You know what I'm saying? To do your research on it so you're not guessing and fumbling and lying and you know what I'm saying?
And getting, you know, cats get caught in their little incorrect information and they, you know, will go to the death behind that information. Argue all night till they ain't got no more air. You know what I mean? Just because they're convinced, you know.
I've seen them.
I'm going to drop one on y'all. I'm going to move on. There's no answer to this one. But we all were alive. You remember back in 1997 when they cloned the sheep Dolly?
I heard about Dolly.
That they mastered cloning back in 1997. You have literally never heard anything else about them cloning anything other than like bullshit. They mastered cloning back in 1997, and we didn't even have iPhones back then. Now look at your phone. Now imagine what they can do with cloning. I don't want to say nothing else about
This is what I'll say about that, though. They can't duplicate. It's easier to duplicate an animal because an animal has like a program that's already set. Like animals don't be thinking about hella shit. I mean, I know people think that they do, but they don't know what they're talking about. Animals have a specific program. They pretty much stick to it. So you can make a sheep and teach out, you know, what they gonna do. They eat grass. They ain't doing nothing complicated. A human being is a lot more complicated. It's not an animal. You know what I mean? So you couldn't even duplicate what a little baby would do. That's not even always the same. But you always know pretty much a dog's gonna eat the dog food. He's not trying to get up and cook. You know what I mean? So to me, the clone, I don't believe they cloned any human beings or anything like that.
No, successfully. I'll say
yeah, they've tried.
Yeah. I'll say successfully. I believe that they've tried a lot. You know what I'm saying? So
that sounds like a waste of money, though.
Ah, man, that's what
people. You could just have some babies.
That's what people do, man.
That's way cheaper.
That's what they do, man. They waste money. Why? Because
right.
They have it.
That's real though.
Why? Because they have it. So other than Jay-Z, who do you want to work with that you have it?
Man, I wouldn't mind working with like Conway, Benny the Butcher, them cats.
Good ones.
You know what I mean? Definitely wouldn't mind working with like, I would like to work with 2 Chainz. I think I could do 2 Chainz. I think we could, you know, meeting of the minds type. Kendrick, I wouldn't mind doing something with Kendrick. Rakim, I mean, he's still out moving around, you know, so I'd love to do something with the guy. Yeah, man.
You know the funny part about it?
Oh, you know what, MF Doom? No, I never did Doom, but I would have loved to do that.
Good one.
You know, the funny part about it is you named a lot of, you know, influential artists in that last little run that you said. But the cold part about it is your beats are cool enough to have you working with them cats. You know what I'm saying? That's the cold part about it. You can hear people say, like, okay, you know, I want to run a marathon, but they weigh 300 pounds. And I mean, you know, it's like, okay, you get into shape, you can lose a little weight, you could complete a marathon, but running a marathon take a little more, you know, dedication. But yeah, that's tight. That's tight.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
We got another comment question. They asked, do you have a finished Turban project tucked away?
Nah, not yet. But we're gonna be cooking soon. Not yet.
Okay. And let me ask one more. It said, did Gangstar have any influence on Homeless Derelicts as far as sound and a producer with an MC group?
You know, I would say definitely from the production level, I was definitely influenced by Gangstar and everything that was really going on at that time. But I think everybody was kind of using jazzy samples at that particular moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I would say, yeah, Gangstar was definitely a certain type of influence to what we were doing, no doubt.
So from there, man, I'm gonna ask you the one that I hit everybody with. So you know, as guilty as I am, you know, I'm on Instagram seeing shout out to Fran Boogie and Shortcut. I see him living it up like it's 1999 out there. You know what I'm saying? doing the absolute most, doing these R&B cruises. I was almost crazy enough. I called Fran and I was like, man, you know what? Before the summer's over, man, I'm gonna fly down there, man. I'm gonna come and check out one of them R&B cruises. And then I just really thought about the reality, and I was like, man, I done partied like it's 1999. I done been a couple places, whatever. We gonna hold off next summer, man. Let you know. it's man, we live in LA, man. You know what I'm saying? Or the West Coast. I'll say that. We live in the West Coast. The weather's great 98% of the time. You know what I'm saying? You're able to get any type of food you want at least until midnight. You know what I'm saying? Like if you live in a major city.
Right.
And so with that being said, I'm gonna hold off, and if it's still fashionable, you know, next year, I'm gonna probably go up and check out my boy Fran Boogie and hang out at one of those little R&B, shindigs. But with that being said, where do you see social interaction going in the next 5 years?
Oh wow, that's a good one. I see the internet still being a big part of it all, but I could see like a rush of people trying to get back to actually seeing people again in person in the next 5 years. I could see like a community. I mean, of course, you know, if they don't lock it down and all that kind of stuff, but I could see people, if that doesn't happen, you know, community things happen, you know, events happening where it's a lot more people there because people don't want to get out and not just be sitting on their phone. I mean, that's just kind of how I see it happening in the near future.
You know, one of the wackest things that I saw throughout the whole COVID situation, which I'll say it wasn't death, but it was as impactful as death. There's a whole generation of kids that went like a year and a half without socialization. Like they were already non-social, you know what I'm saying? But then you throw this on them, and then they're like for me, for instance, when I was like 15, 16, 17, man, we go to the mall, hang out all day.
Right.
Just to see if we could talk to a girl, just to see if it was a girl there to talk to. Like, man.
Right.
And like where I come from, man, you had like I had a couple homies that were a little privileged or whatever, but for the most part, you had to talk to a girl if you wanted a girl. You had to be able to communicate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To have the skill set of conversing and whatnot. And it's like there's a whole generation that was already didn't interact with each other, but then they had like a year and a half without being able to socialize. And I had like 2 different friends, and it was weird because they both told me the same thing. They're like, you know, my son just stays in his room. You know what I'm saying? He plays he just plays video games, and we try to tell him to come out, and he's, you know, he'll barely come out and just whatever. And it's like, it's just going to be very interesting to see how, as society moves forward, like what is going to be the fallout from the kids that were already non-social being forced to really be non-social, because this is the thing. Like for me, junior high school, you may have had cool people, you may have had weirdos, but it was cool people the cool people could hang out with, and it was weirdos the weirdos could hang out with.
Absolutely, right. Right.
And so, real talk. Yeah, and so it was like, you know, everybody had a way of communicating at the level, or socializing at the skill level, skill set, common interest, or whatever. But right now, man, it's just, man, it kind of horrifies me. You know what's
going to happen? I mean, this whole thing, we have not felt the repercussions of none of this. Like, we in the thick of this still. Like, we have not felt nothing that happened last year. You don't feel it in a year. That's not how it works. It never worked like that. We're going to feel this down the line, what this means to our economy, all of that. You don't feel that later on. Not that much later on, but I'm just saying it wouldn't be right now necessarily in the full.
It's not that easy. People are looking at it like, whoo, we able to
I mean, like the kids, like you said, all those kids who sat in the house, they ain't even got to go back to school. They just barely going back to school. Who knows how they're going to act out? Nobody knows what's going to happen.
They have the hope of going back to school.
Yeah, true. Do that.
That's where it's at right now. They ain't hit them classes yet. You know what I'm saying? They have the hope, they have the carrot being dangled. Okay, this is what you're gonna do, you know.
Real talk. But I always feel like this. Every time these kind of things happen, it's really good for us. You know what I mean? Because, you know, when the system shakes up, that gives a little wiggle room for, you know, for other things to come through that might have been, you know, harder to come through. You know what I mean? Like, you know, especially when their system shakes. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's messed up, but I mean, a reset or whatever they keep talking about, it could be good for us. It could be good for the hip hop community. It could, you know. I
had a homeboy who said he's married to my homegirl, and we hella cool. And he said when everything first jumped off, like within the first like 2 or 3 weeks of the quarantine and all that kind of stuff, whatever, he's like, Greg, we gonna be cool. I was like, what's gonna make us cool? Said, it's a hustler season. You know what I'm saying? If you've been hustling, you ain't got to work your hustle muscle up. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got you don't have to create a new muscle. You don't have to work it out or anything. All you got to do is just execute everything you did in practice. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now that's real, man.
Yeah. So with that being said, man, I appreciate you tapping in, man, and giving us some. I'm working with Brown, and we're gonna start doing some cool stuff with the Pharcyde, with the Twitch channel. So I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna holler at you on some stuff to just kind of have you like, man, you the homeboy, but you the secret weapon at the same time. You know what I'm saying? as a matter of fact, seeing you and Breakbeat Lou as the sonic technicians of the Hyro shows, that was kind of something to watch, man. That was a real good look.
Thank you, man. Shout out to Breakbeat Lou. I got and I got to give it up to that man, because like that Coolio, I sampled his record. I sampled those them records. You know what I mean? So you know, I had to tell him that like years later, like, yo, man, like I sampled your joints just to, you know what I mean? So to see that, brother, like that's a foundation to the game right there. Yeah. So, you know, I'm honored to be standing next to that man. You feel me? Like real talk. I'm honored just to be in the same thing, because like, man, there was a lot of the stuff we hearing and the stuff we love. It wouldn't have happened if they hadn't done what they did with those breaks.
Dang, we got one. The only reason why I'm asking this because it's a good one. It's that someone asked, did Kanye and Nas steal Ark's Chill Life Mathematics album cover as well as the Adam E beat?
Well, yeah, you know, like I say to everybody's like, I mean, steal is a heavy word. They did use the same beat. And see, the thing is, we had the same album cover and a beat was on there. And I think something else the internet connected to it. So, you know, the whole lightning striking in the same place 3 times, I think just kind of put the icing on the cake for that situation. But, you know, hey, you know, Guru said it best, right? You can't own no loop. So I ain't never really took no offense to that necessarily. But I did think it was crazy. Like, damn. But great minds think alike, baby.
Yeah, man. Jay need to give you a hot 2 minutes on it, man. Just a hot 2 minutes of conversation, man.
That's it. That's it. That's it. I was just like, hold on.
Radar. When that happened.
Yeah,
I didn't even know about you until. Okay.
Yeah, man.
That put you
all good. Well, you want to give your social media out and all your stuff? Let people know.
Yeah, definitely, man. Y'all can hit me on Instagram, Architect HHP. That's at Architect HHP. Or you can hit me on Twitter. Same thing, at Architect HHP. Yep.
Cool. Any more projects coming out this year?
Man, you know, me and Asia, you know, and Dirty Diggs and Izzy Nice just produced this record for Planet Asia called Holy Water. It's out now. We got 2 wild videos I produced off of them joints. Man, them videos are crazy. So definitely go hit the Holy Water from Planet Asia. Me and my man K Burns, we about to drop something my homie Coach Cheese. We working on an album now, so you know, I got a lot of stuff up my sleeve that definitely gonna be hitting the people.
Cool. You, Jeremy, you got anything coming up?
Nah. Jeremy Comedy. That's it. Just Jeremy Comedy Instagram for more. That's it.
Hey man, I saw a little Instagram post you threw up, man. You look pretty like you had it cracking, man.
I got stuff in development, but this is nothing I can really speak on right now. Oh, you know what? T Novel Roundabout, he's doing a birthday show at Supply and Demand on that's next month. That's Sunday. This Sunday coming up. T Novel of the Free Nationals play with Anderson .Paak. Yeah, look that up. Supply and Demand Sunday. Yeah. I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, an Architect. When we had our band, you know, you might have saw him there. You know what I'm saying? We had him on the keys once upon a time. You know.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
OG Ron.
Yeah, beast.
Well, no,
Definitely,
man, that's
definitely.
tight. And then your girl situation. If you in LA and you want to check out some cool comedy, Crack 'em Up Thursdays, right?
Oh, nah, not right now, man. Belly room's closed for now, so yeah. To be continued.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, that's right. Well, no, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Architect.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
It's been a Stone Cold Groove. I appreciate you guys. And this has been Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV.